to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logo designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design and would be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Out-of-date carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleburne, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they've got you covered.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leach Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson, Cleburne, Texas. Leach Brothers has been family owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
The voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Oh my goodness, MYFA Nation, how I have missed you. 1 week off. That's a killer. We've already got people on the live. We've already got people messaging in. Man, I can tell you guys miss us too. Obviously, welcome to MYFA Live After the Whistle Championship Friday night, 7-on-7. I'm joined here by the president of MYFA, Mr. Rob Houchin. He's going to be jumping on with us today. We got a lot of good 7-on-7 stuff for you today. We've got some tackle stuff to inform you about today, some things about the show. But as always, please, if you're watching, which Mr. Kevin Craig, number one, and RJ Kaufman, what's up, my man? Already dropped the L in the comments. If you're watching, drop an L for live, an R for replay. And guys, you've been so good about being interactive on the show here of recent. Man, it's the playoffs. It's the championship games. If your teams are out there playing tonight, it is your time to shine. We want to hear from you. We want to hear, your comments, your concerns, anything like that. That is what MYFA Live After the Whistle is all about. So we're glad to be here. So a couple of things that we'll get going talking about it. So we have our distinguished leader and president of the MYFA organization in-house. I asked him to come today. Rob's been pretty busy here of late, putting 7-on-7 touches together. And then at the same time, for those of you parents out there, and maybe even some of you newer coaches that don't know, while 7-on-7's going, balancing out that schedule, Rob and the executive team are doing all that stuff, and obviously taking all your complaints of the wonderful calls that have been made in 7-on-7. That's my inside joke from this past week. I'll tell you about my playoff game here shortly. But all of that good stuff, they're also still having to play in tackle football season. And so tackle football season is right around the corner. But first and foremost, boss man, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Mike. I appreciate it.
Are you tired?
Yes.
It's been a long season. I guess let me just get your thoughts. Biggest 7-on-7 year that we've had in MYFA, right? How do you think that it's gone overall?
I think for the most part, for us, not really knowing the number of teams that we were going to have for this season, and then doubling the number we had from the previous year, and going to a multi-site location for each week. I think it's gone pretty well. Next year, I think there's a few adjustments and stuff that need to be made for it, but I think we'll be better prepared for it next year, and I look forward to it. I think it's been great this year. A lot of competition out there.
It's been awesome to see. I've spent most of my nights out at the All Saints location. Had a couple opportunities to go over to Crowley, and what I absolutely love about it is that MYFA, it is embodying the title of Metroplex, and. Right. I love it. I mean, we've got Alito, we've got Eaton, we've got All Saints and Crowley, and then tonight's championship games. If you've been living in a cave and you don't know, they are right down the road from us at Crowley tonight. And I'm telling you, you want to be out at those games for sure. But Rob, let me ask you this, because we've been talking about it, and I'm going to kind of read what you sent me here. But one of the other things that you've been putting together, and I know you kind of emailed it out to the towns, and by the way, all you town reps that may be listening, and anybody that's tied up with the town rep, if you hear something on the show, one of the reasons why this show, when I approached Rob and Rob started talking to me about doing something to help get information out from MYFA, one of the things that he was adamant about is getting information in our parents' hands even more. And so, hey, Matt, how are you, man? One of the things that if you hear something on the show that maybe you haven't heard from your organization or your town rep, but you're interested, please contact them. Because one of the things that I'm going to talk about, I'll be honest, we haven't had a whole lot of feedback from town reps yet, but I think it's an awesome idea that could start taking place here in the next few weeks. And one of the things that MYFA wants to do is put together a lineman challenge. I will tell you, for me, why I think this is good. Number one, we're getting ready for tackle football season. I know for me personally, and there are some rules. We won't go down all the rules, but realistically, we can't start official tackle practice until August 1st. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But if we're doing things like these challenges and we're getting ready to compete for competition or camps, we can get our kids together. Is that right?
That's right. I mean, the difference between that and tackle practice obviously would be if you're not running plays, then it wouldn't be considered an organized practice. So.
Right. But if if I want to get my 5 to 8 linemen together and they're working on strength, because I mean, guys, so this lineman challenge, let me just tell you some of the things that Rob has come up with, and it's pretty cool. A tire flip challenge, right? Tire relay, excuse me, medicine ball toss, farmer's walk, a towel snatch, agility course, a tire stack, a big man relay, a tug of war. I mean, some of this stuff are all things these kids do in field day. And I don't know about you, but I go out and watch field day because my son's in it. They have an absolute blast doing this.
Yep.
And, the thing about 7-on-7 that sometimes is a little bit of a challenge, I don't think there's not a single kid from the 2nd grade to the 6th grade level that if you said, hey, you want to come out and play football, they wouldn't all raise their hand and say yes. But when you have 35-minute running clocks, you're not on offense the whole time, not on defense the whole time, it's hard to get more than 8 to 10 kids involved in a game. this is a perfect opportunity, because I think on this, it's not saying, it says that you have to have a minimum of 8 players. So
That's
you could
correct.
have 10, you could have 12, 15, right?
Right. The coach would actually pick out who he thinks would compete best in each one of those. So I mean, a player, it's just like track. A player
Okay.
could compete at one of those events, just like running a relay or throwing shot put or discus or whatever. And the coach just kind of picks that. Maybe that's that kid's specialty for his team, sort of thing. And I mean, you can have as many or as few as you want. So
give us the idea of how this cumulative team points, is that the kind of the way it worked?
Right.
So I know this is kind of, you've been kind of spitballing some stuff out with the towns, but you've also, you and I've kind of talked before that this is something you've seen your own kids do, right? In a similar fashion. What does this look like for folks if MYFA was to pull it off?
So essentially what it is I'm stealing an idea from when my sons were playing varsity ball in Cleburne, and they used to host it in their indoor facility. And they simply would just set up certain areas for all of these events, and teams would basically rotate these stations and compete. Top 3 teams, either their times or the number of reps, they would keep records of all of that. And then the top 3 teams would be awarded X number of points. And then as the season went on, you'd have weekly winners, and then you had overall season champions and stuff like that. So it's just something fun that I saw the kids get behind.
Right.
I saw the turnout of the parents in there. I mean, it was standing room only.
Wow.
You could barely get into the indoor. Everybody was packed in there to watch some of this stuff. It was a lot of fun, and I think our kids would benefit from it.
Yeah, and it's something to do here. I know you kind of tentatively threw some dates out in the month of June. It's some competition to get our kids going, right? I mean, it's one of those type of things that I believe it'll start sharpening their skills, getting them ready for tackle, but also it keeps them together. I mean, we all know school's letting out here in a couple of weeks.
That's right.
And so it kind of gets them with that group of friends. For you parents, I promise you, this is something that if they're practicing at night, it's going to wear them out so they go to bed. So right now, every parent should be calling your town rep right now saying, hey, we need to do this lineman challenge, because this is something that's going to absolutely wear them out. And it is a little bit of competition and something that the kids can do. And so I'm all about it. I hope that we can pull it off this year, but if not, for surely next year, I hope it's something that we can get out there and get it done. And I know we're gonna have to get some hosting locations and stuff like that. So guys, get with your town reps. If you can't get a hold of your town rep, email through MYFA, get with them, let them know that you want to be a part of it. I think this would be an awesome thing, and you wanted to throw that out there while we're talking about 7-on-7 because it correlates. But getting back to the games and stuff tonight. One of the things, Rob, I wanted to do before, we're going to pick some games and stuff like that. But, the facilities that we've been at, they've been great hosts. And then also, Coleman Barbecue. I know they've been out at All Saints almost every night. Fred's been out there, so shout out to him. But yep. I know you guys have had a taco vendor that's been out every.
Yep, Santos. He's been out there with his trailer and stuff, helping everybody get some food and grub since they're out there for a couple hours. You kind of miss dinner time and stuff, rushing to get to the field, and then you're stuck there for an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about tonight. So I'm used to being out there, leaving right after the show and getting out there 5:15, 5:30 and being there till 10 or 10:30. And, I can't tell you how many times Fred at Coleman's absolutely saved me. So shout out to you, Fred, for, making that sick barbecue. And for any of you guys that are online listening and you own a business, you want to help out, I'm going to say it 100 times. MYFA's still looking for sponsors. They're looking for people to do stuff like that. So please get involved. Hey, Philip, welcome to the show. Please get involved with that as we can always use the help. So that being said, couple of things I want to share with you guys, and we're gonna get right into 7-on-7. So show format, a little bit of change in the show. So we've done Friday night shows because of 7-on-7. We've had a great time doing it. And by the way, I'm wearing my Stars gear because I believe they're going to win tonight. I'm going to the game tonight. Mavericks pulled it off last night. I mean, I was a little worried that they were going to come out a little flat after the beatdown that they took, but I'm happy about that.
Yep.
But I'm hoping my Stars pull it out tonight. So shout out to my Stars. But we're going to make it a show format change. So I want to tell you guys what's going to happen with the show. And what we're going to do is kind of move it more toward the middle of the week. Rob and I were kind of talking about some days, either a Monday or a Thursday. I would love to hear back from you guys. So we'll have the show next week. And next week we'll be covering out the championships. And so what I would love to have, if you guys are with me on Facebook, please just send me a message on Facebook. You can send me a message through the Joco app. You can send it straight to MYFA. But my whole goal with this show was not only to get stuff to the parents of what's going on in the MYFA world, but we want to get more of our kids here being interviewed. Well, we're going into tackle. As we all know, those games are on Saturday, but along with tackle, football season comes with the Friday night lights, and we also have Thursday night football. I know we have junior high football on Tuesday. So we were kind of thinking about maybe a Monday show for MyFi Live After the Whistle. Obviously got to check with the station here and see if they have that opening. It could be maybe a Thursday show, but we're going to move it from Fridays. That way people can get out to their high school games, support your local area, get those kids out there. We want those kids seeing those older kids because that's what they're about to go into. And also we want to be able to have them on our show. Secondly, we may extend the time a little bit. One of the things when we start picking games, how many 7-on-7 teams off the top of your head do you think we had this year?
It's 60.
60. How many tackle teams are we going to have, if you had to guess?
Over 200.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, on 60 games, even me just trying to do game of the weeks, I barely get through it. So there's no way we're going to be able to have people in here. And one of the things that I want to bring you guys in content is that really kind of like you hear on your professional radio shows, and God knows I'm not that, but diving into MYFA, each grade level, I want to be able to give each grade level the respect that it deserves. I want to be able to have those kids come in here, those coaches come in here, town reps come in here. So I'm also going to talk to them about maybe extending the show by 30 minutes. So big changes come into that. So you guys hang on with us there. What we'll probably do is have next week's show. We'll have a quick break for the holiday that's coming up. And then in June will be our new format. If you're not, if you're living under a bridge and not following the MYFA Facebook page, go follow it right now. And that's where you're really going to be able to see all the content and the changes and what's going to happen. Guys, the fall's going to be huge. I have not been, Rob, I haven't been excited about something as much in the fall. Especially with the radio show, I think we're averaging 300 to 500 views a week is what I was told between all platforms. And that's with 60 teams. Lord knows when we get to 200, I don't even know what to say that's going to happen. So
yes.
It's going to be an awesome league. So that being said, guys, enough of the fun stuff out of the way. It's championship night. It's time to talk about some games. So I want to talk about last week's games a little bit. We're going to start in the second grade division. What a game. So tonight's matchup is Alito versus Peaster. Now, Rob, how many teams, I'm going to put you on the spot here, and if you know this, don't fool around with me. Just say, I already know because I'm the boss and I'm the president. How many number 1 seeds and number 2 seeds do you think are playing in the championship tonight?
4.
Ooh, good. But no. So there's 3 number 1s and 2 number 2s and 3 number 2s playing tonight. That's it. In all the grade divisions. We almost had upset city multiple times, but the first one, and I watched this game, the number 4 seed Peaster played the number 1 seed Azel. And I don't know, in Azel, my boy Justin Bazin, I'm sure he's listening. What's up, Michael Rodriguez? I don't know if it came out a little flat. I love this grade division. Y'all have heard me talk about it. I've picked against Azel twice with Alito and got it wrong. And little old Peaster, they took it to him.
I saw that. I was surprised when I got the score sheets. I haven't got a chance to watch the second grade division this year. But when I saw that surprised me. Azel had run the gauntlet the whole year, and it seemed like they were a shoo-in for the championship. But the good thing about 7-on-7 is one throw can change the entire course of a game, And it seems like some of that happens in some of these games last week.
Well, and what I like about 7-on-7 in I don't want to spoil it. We'll kind of talk a little bit about both. And if it's not okay to talk about it, you can say, hey, move on. But getting into tournaments, what matters. And we're talking about a potential change that's on the, Rob, you said we can be organic here and talk about the stuff. So one of the things that was talked about at the last MYFA meeting was shortening the season. That got voted down. But one of the things that's on the table is a playoff change in 2 playoff divisions, right? Is that okay to say?
That's correct. There'll actually be 3. There'll be 3,
Okay.
but yeah, you'll have a Division 1, Division 2, and then you'll have a consolation.
So what we're seeing here with 7-on-7, you get in the playoffs, you can wind up in the championship. And so with what's potentially voting, I guess this week, and just so all of our viewers know and people listening, if you don't know, this is the last MYFA meeting to change anything before tackle. Is that correct?
Yeah, the June meeting will be
June
that's
meeting.
It.
So
once that meeting's over,
and that's like June the 5th or something like that first Sunday in June, right?
Right, correct.
So if it doesn't change now, it's not being changed, but it's on the schedule to potentially start the games after the holiday, the Labor Day holiday, correct? And to do some format changing. We'll just leave it at that for the playoffs. I love the format change for the playoffs because when I look at the stuff that we're talking about here at 7-on-7, I mean, Peaster would have made it. They were the 4 seed, but the reality of it is they would have been maybe barely make it, or who knows who they would have played. And they took it to the number 1 seed, Azel. They've got Alito tonight, who's the number 2 seed that finished 9-3. They've got the Alito team tonight, and we'll pick the games after the break. I just kind of wanted to talk our way through them a little bit. But, man, playoffs, this grade division, I absolutely love. Congratulations to Peaster for doing it. I think it's an awesome ordeal that we may have multiple divisions in the playoffs for kids to be able to win championships. And 7-on-7 shows you that. 3rd grade, once again, Brock, number 1 team all the way through.
Yes.
Ran into Alito Scott. Tight game. I didn't get to see this game, but a 16-14 win. Alito Scott in the championship.
Yep.
Alito Davis beat Midlothian Robinson. We got 2 Alitos facing each other. 3 seed. No number 1 seeds are in the championship.
Yep.
You've got your 4th grade division. This is where, and I've told this to people, and I'm sorry for all you folks that listen to 4th grade. Tonight, this and the Godly Diggs game we'll get to in a second are my games of the week. But Cooper and Barrett, I mean, that's been it the whole time. I don't think there's been anybody close in that division. That's going to be a fun one tonight. If I think that game's at 7:30. If you don't get out to Crowley for any games, get out to see that game. Big time competition. But in the 5th grade division, my division, obviously I'm going to talk about this here. All right. We got the 4 seed Granbury Rice.
Yep.
They're in the championship.
Barely 4 seed though.
Barely
4 seed.
And you got Eaton, who was the number 1 seed, but really the number 2 seed because, Stephenville wasn't able to play. But Eaton, giving them their number 1 seed. They're in the playoffs. Now, I got to talk about this game because for all my Burleson peeps, my grievance here. Number 1, I wish my man Victor was sitting around here because he posted on Facebook his predictions, and I should go pull those up right now. And Victor, if you're listening, I tried to message Victor, everybody, for before today's show. And if you see me use my phone here, I'm going to the MYFA Facebook page. By the way, that's why you need to follow it, because you can get quick, easy access. But I want to read you. What Victor said, and I might read his nice, sweet comments he said about the league. But right now, I've got to read you about 5th grade. It says, neither Burleson team will make it past their first matchup. Victor, where you at? Where you at, Victor? What's up, Philip? I'm being nice. Neither Burleson team. They will fall to Eaton in the 2nd round. Crowley's going to win a first one over Burleson. Now, Rob, I know you're Crowley, and I hate your son missed that game. He was out sick.
Yeah.
But, hey, we'll take any advantage we can get. That's football, right?
It's the way it goes.
I don't want to use the word dominate, but I'm going to say we dominated Crowley. Hopefully, I'm not going to look that way right now. And then we get to Eaton, And that game started at 9:30 and ended close to 10:45, I believe, with a quadruple overtime. We had some ref controversy, and I'm sure most all of the parents on here would talk about the ref controversy of some of their games, but that's part of the game of football. You're not going to hear me get on here and gripe about that. But my point of it is we went toe-to-toe with an Eaton team that, if I'm being honest, whipped the dog snot out of us in the regular season.
Eaton's been a tough team all year long.
They whipped us good, but we went toe-to-toe with them. Probably the play of the night was I won't say his name because I know it kind of tore him up a little bit, but had an interception in the end zone. This isn't the pick I told you about to end the game. And if y'all can see me on camera, he catches it, goes to tuck it, and steps, and he drops it.
Oh, no.
And called it incomplete. Good call on the field. Can't complain about it. But if he makes that pick, the game's over.
Right.
And we win the game.
That's
and we're in the
one.
championship tonight. But you know what? It was one of those parents were a little rowdy. And by the way, for you parents tonight, let me just say this. These games are probably going to be pretty close tonight. They're going to be close tonight. Remember, your children watch the way you react. That's all I'm going to tell you. And look, I get it. I was upset at the loss of that game. Matter of fact, when he dropped it, if there's film of that game, which I'm sure there is somewhere, when he dropped it, I actually fell on the ground. I was like, because he's, how it is. These guys worked all week long. We worked really hard we knew what Eaton was going to do. A fantastic team. To the Eaton coaches that are listening, well-coached team, their offensive coordinator, really good at what he calls. And when I was calling our offense, I knew what they're going to do on defense. I knew the mismatch I could have. And we went, toe-to-toe with them. And I hit the ground. But what a game of the night. But the reality of it is, hats off to Eaton. They've won the game. And they are in the championship tonight, and they're playing a Granbury team that beat them earlier in the year. Yeah. We'll make our predictions in the second half of the segment, but that Granbury team beat them earlier in the year. That's going to be a fun one. That your 4th, 5th, and 6th grade games, guys, you got to try to watch those tonight. I mean, you're going to have talent galore across the field to watch tonight, and you want to be out there. And then, of course, our 6th grade game is Godley versus Diggs. These two have kind of, like the 4th grade, kind of ran away with it a little bit, and that's going to be a showdown tonight.
Yeah, they're both 1-1. I mean, they both beat each other already in the regular season. So
yeah, I can't wait to pick that game. And so, Rob, let me ask you this. You've been around football for a long time. What are you seeing with these kids that, and maybe I'm just crazy, but when I watch these teams of, Eaton and I'll use Burleson and the 2nd grade, it doesn't matter. Crowley, their growth for the past 6 or 7 weeks. What are you seeing it feels like something's changing in youth football. I don't know. What are you seeing in kids now that maybe from several years ago that you haven't seen? What are you seeing that's developing in youth football right now?
Oh, the skill level is completely different than what it used to be. Kids are developing. Well, there's so many more opportunities for them to develop their skill levels. I mean, you have personal trainers, private trainers. You have these clubs and stuff that they can play in 7-on-7 almost year round now. I mean, everybody plays through the summer. There's so many more opportunities than there were 10 years ago. When my oldest son played 7-on-7 and we started, I think we played Brazos Valley. And I mean, that was a very limited schedule and against a very limited number of teams. I mean, now you can go play anywhere. You can go play out of state. You can go play in Vegas. You can play in Florida. You can play Texas, Mississippi, in Georgia. You have all kinds of opportunities. It's just everything's opened up for kids, just depending on how much work you want. Yeah. And then for the parents and how much money they want to spend, kids can develop, and they develop pretty quick. I mean, athleticism is just off the charts with these kids in these younger divisions nowadays. I mean, what I've seen, kids in 7-on-7, if you're putting up 30, 40 points, it tells me that you're catching the ball and you know how to run. Yeah. So, I mean, and that's tough. I mean, I remember kids way back when in 2nd grade, and you got happy if you completed 2 or 3 passes. Yeah. Because they were saying, why can't we run the ball? once or twice, during a series or something. But now it's just night and day compared to what it used
It's
to be.
amazing. Even like in the second grade level, watching these kids roll out and throwing on the run and, kind of, I know it's ill advised, but sometimes throwing it back across their body. We've got sixth graders that literally can stand on the 40-yard line and throw it in the back of the end zone.
Yep.
There's one gentleman from the sixth grade Crowley team that is just a monster. I watched them throw the ball up to him and literally double coverage on him and just go up and grab the ball. And I'm like, man, that kid's in sixth grade. Like, I mean, I don't know that I could guard him. Of course I'm, old and decrepit now. But it is crazy. So have you ever thought about MYFA doing a like an all-star team and going and competing some of this stuff? We only got about 30 seconds, so I know I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't ask you that before, but as you're sitting here talking, I'm going, man, maybe MYFA does a grade level all-star team and goes. Have you ever thought about it?
The one thing, that's not the first time I've been asked that, but it's a matter of what coaches can allow one coach to be the head coach of all those kids.
Yeah, got all the Chiefs and no Indians, right?
That's right.
Well, guys, we're going to pick games when we come back. Thank you for joining with us. Glad to be back with you today. MYFA Live After the Whistle, championship Friday night. We'll see you on the other side.
Accelerated Graphics and Science 101 East Renfro, Sweet C in Burleson, Texas, can handle all of your graphic needs. Need a banner or promotional products for your business? They got you covered. T-shirts and caps for your group. All you need to figure out is if you want them screen printed or embroidered. How about some slick graphics on that hot ride to make you stand out from the crowd? Accelerated Graphics and Science can handle anything you throw at them. Located at 101 East Renfro Street, Sweet C in Burleson, Texas, go in and see them. Call them at 817-991-0523 or reach them on the web at www.acceleratedgraphics.net. They are loud and proud and want to serve you. Accelerated Graphics.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379 or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
All right, just enough time to get some water and get back. Obviously, as you guys know, after the break, we take care of a few house cleaning things. So let me go through this here. Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is on the Live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen or watch, simply go to tuneinjoco.com to choose where and how. The Joco Community Radio app is now available for free on Android and Apple devices. Just go simply search your store. This episode and more is brought to you by Patriot Claims. Make your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep, Nona Reed, at 844-TEXT-HAIL, and that's 844-839-4245. Also brought to you by the Versus Uniforms. Guys, if you haven't gone to the Versus Facebook page, yes, I'm partial to it, but they've got some sick uniforms up for towns all across the Metroplex. Go check them out. My man RJ's on here. Mineral Wells about to debut a brand new look, and their uniforms just look absolutely sick. Go shout them out and check those uniforms out. And also you can reach Versus at 817-308-6064. Guys, if you want to be a sponsor on the MYFA radio show, which we have several that are coming in for the fall, that are coming in for the fall tackle football season, we obviously have a big reach. Number one, it helps MYFA. It helps these kids. It helps with facilities. It helps with referees. Now, as much as we may not like the referees, the reality of it is those referees do have to get paid, and we all like them when we win. It's just maybe when we lose, we don't. Rob shakes his head. That's the number one complaint you get, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, that just goes with how the game goes. I mean, typically, if there's always something that causes a game to be lost, and fingers normally get pointed one way or another. So, and
that's why I want to make sure. And Philip, Mr. Coach Hill said I did a great job coaching our boys, and that's why I wanted to make sure that with Eaton, I didn't take anything away from them. Kids are going to learn as they get older. And matter of fact, I go back to the Burleson High School playoff game that I was watching, and I wasn't there. Don't know if it's the right call or the wrong call, but passes complete to they're playing. Maybe it wasn't a playoff game. Maybe it was a non-playoff game to get in. They're playing Azle. I'm not sure if it's playoffs or not. No, I don't think it was playoffs. It was non-playoffs. Someone can correct me, but a beautiful pass in the back of the end zone. Ref said he stepped out of bounds. Don't know if he did. It would have been a game winner for BHS. But the reality of it is that's the call. And you got to go into games and the reality of it is you got to be up by enough or play good enough defense that those calls don't hurt you. So never want to take away from the refs. Obviously, I do. I know MYFA has some big plans because you said that you're going to have a meeting with just the referees for the fall, right? That's your plan anyway, to have the committee or whatever talk to just the refs to make sure they're good to go.
Yeah, our goal is to dedicate our July meeting with all of our crew chiefs and our head of officials, and allow the towns and the town reps and the executive board to communicate with them on some areas that we'd like to see cleaned up for the upcoming season, and vice versa, allow them to let us know some of their concerns and things that we need to address on our end, to make it a better experience for everybody.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for you parents, MYFA takes their referees seriously. That's one of the reasons why I'm glad Rob's joining with us today, because I promise you that when your complaints come in or when they go to choose these refs, it's not just a flip of a coin and they're like, hey, come on out if you can make it out. I know you may feel like that sometimes, but that is not what happens as far as that goes. And I do want to mention something else that I was asked to mention. This is from my local church. If any of you guys are around the Johnson County area, which most of you guys are, they're putting on what they call a fundamentals basketball camp. And they capitalize the word fun. This is going to be May the 30th through June the 4th. It's for ages 8 to 14, boys and girls. If you have a kid that has wanted to play basketball and maybe they're not a great dribbler, maybe you have a kid that has played basketball and you just want them to get around some other folks, or maybe they want to learn to shoot or something like that. This is a camp that's going on. You can look it up on Facebook, on the Facebook page to register. You can, contact me, or you can contact the True Life Church in Joshua. It's a very, very cheap cost, and it's at night. Kids can come. It's going to be a lot of fun for them. So I told them I'd mention it because I know we have a lot of kids that play basketball. And then on the football page, we have a lot of towns that have already closed their signups. You guys are closed, right? Or not yet?
No.
So I believe I heard Alito was closed. I'm sure someone from Alito will tell me if that's true. I believe Weatherford is closed. Eaton's closed. So, guys, if you haven't signed up to play football and you're in some of those towns that I mentioned, you might want to call them. But there's some other towns that are approaching that. So if you're listening, and by the way, if you're listening, one of the things that would also help MYFA, I've talked about donations, I've talked about that stuff, but just sharing this live stream, because the more that this touches people, where you may not have funds to donate, and that's absolutely okay. By sharing this live stream, it may touch someone that can, but also it helps get information out. And we only had 60 teams in 7-on-7. Average team probably carried about 9 players, maybe 10 players. So, I mean, that's 600 players versus 200 teams carrying 20 players. I mean, guys, we have a lot of parents that need to know that signups are open right now. And so let's get them going. Let's get them in. Let's get them signed up. I can tell you for Towns, this is one of the most stressful times a year because from our cheer coaches and cheer directors to our football coaches and football directors, their whole thing is got to get them fitted. Got to get them, as Rob shakes his head. Then for MYFA, we've got, hopefully this new registration is going to help us, but you still got certification. You still got weigh-ins. You still got all these things that have to get done. And I believe and if Kevin's still listening, he'll put it up there. Kevin Craig. I love Kevin. Like, honestly, like he's one of my favorite people, him and his wife, Cherry. But starting about this time of year, he sends me and Andy and Justin a countdown till August 1st. And I love it. And he'll probably tell us, but I believe the last countdown we got was a couple of days ago, and I believe it said like 82 days or 80 days before the first practice. It's right around the corner, folks. Your kids are going to get out of school in the next 2 weeks. You're going to fly through the month of June. Maybe we have a lineman camp, football camps, and then outside of that, we're here. It's tackle football season, and the next thing you know, everybody will be eating turkey.
Yep. Season's over.
The season's over. We're wrapping up, and Rob goes on a 2-month vacation and gets ready to do it all again. And you heard me right. Do it all again. Don't hear him if he says he's done after this year. We're not letting that happen. Before we pick these games, what are you looking forward to the most of tackle? Do you have anything? I mean, because are you coaching again this year? Or are you kind of just doing the?
I mean, I'll be out there some. I just, with work schedules and so much stuff going on now that it's tough for me to really say that I can be there. And I know when you get into coaching, I mean, if you can't give it 100%, then you need to step aside and let someone else that can, have that opportunity. So I'll be out there. I'll always be around the kids and trying to help, but just with the association, everything, trying to get everyone and get the information, and everything out, and trying to do that. It's a full-time job. So, no, I'll be out there helping, but I won't be an official coach. No.
So biggest season yet coming up.
Yeah.
We've added new towns. And which, by the way, folks, we'll start back up with our towns too when we hit the new format and schedule. Are you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous. I mean, I think we've taken a lot of steps this year to kind of handle that. I mean, what a lot of people don't know. I mean, you have the executive board, but what a lot of towns allowed us to do this year was establish commissioners for a lot of these big tasks that we got coming up, like scheduling, like we got for the certifications, official scheduling, and communicating, having people in charge of having all of that stuff done, and making sure that we don't have games where officials don't show up to, or location changes where teams don't show up to, things like that, or certifications where parents don't understand that they're supposed to be getting certain paperwork done and stuff like that. Which by the way, we're going to send out some stuff too. So everybody should be signing up for the contact information with the MYFA registration. MYFA registration.com, I think is what it is. If they go on there and they add themselves to the contact information, allow us to get them emails and text messages out. So if like we have cancellations from weather or changes in venues and stuff, we can get that information out to you guys ASAP.
So they do that through the MYFA page,
right?
So parents, there you go. You want to be informed and game cancel, and just let me tell you, this is not the same league it was 2 years ago.
It's not
the same league it was last year.
No.
It's bigger, and with bigger, there's going to need to be more communication, but it's kind of like the telephone game. If you've got 4,000 people versus 2,000 people, it takes a little bit longer to get down the other 2,000 people. So take advantage of this. I didn't know about it till now, but I'll definitely be promoting that on the shows from here on out. Get on there, take advantage of any types of text message and emails. And so today's been a lot of good information, and you're listening to MYFA Live After the Whistle. It's Championship Friday. We're about to pick some games through all of the regions. If you're listening, drop an L in the comments for live. A lot of people that have already done that. And I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your predictions on the games tonight. One of the things that we're going to be very interactive is going through tackle football season. We've talked a lot about that today. And guys, I'm trying to cover everything I can for you because I don't want no kid to not be able to play football or cheer. And I know right now from what I'm hearing from towns, I mean, it's kind of like they opened it up and floodgates happened. It was just like football, let's go. And so it's one of those things that, obviously I believe in football. I think everybody here, and it's going to be, you want to be a part of this. I've said it from the beginning. People are going to look back, I believe, on MYFA in the next 5 to 10 years. And, we've already had some players that have kind of gone through either Brazos Valley or NCT that you guys know that have went pro. I mean, Burleson had a young man that went pro that went through our organization. But I think in 5 to 10 years, when these sixth graders are getting through high school and going into college, and these fifth graders, I think we're going to look back and realize how special it was that they got to play the type of competition that they got to play in MYFA.
Oh, definitely.
I just, and this is nothing against other leagues that are in the Metroplex. I know there's some great football leagues, but what I really enjoyed personally about the fifth grade 7-on-7, we only played one team twice, and not sure why we did, because we didn't have to play them twice, but we literally played somebody new every week.
Right.
And it was like, wow. I mean, it's not like, oh yeah, we played them 3 weeks ago, and then what was cool about that is when we get into the playoffs, that's when you're playing them the second time. And now you've got familiarity, and it reminds me, and I'm not saying we're the NFL, so chill out, folks, chill out. But it reminds me of that. It's like, yeah, you're going to play through your teams once, and when you get in the playoffs, you're going to see them again, and that's when it counts. You got to get in, so your regular season's important, but once you're in, you're in. Your wife gives a thumbs up. I'm sure that's to me, not to you.
I'm sure.
I love Amy. Like she pocket dials me almost every Friday, and I'll call her back because I'm doing all the business stuff with the Crowley High School. So I'm like, hey, what's up? Well, I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, fine. But hey, what's up, Amy in Ryland? Hey, welcome to the show here. Once again, guys, we're about to pick games. I want to hear from you. We're going to start with second grade. We already talked about it a little bit. The number 4 seed Peaster, number 2 seed Alito. Peaster finished the regular season at 7-5. Alito 9-3. Who do you got tonight? Ooh, on the spot.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with Alito.
Woo! All right, I'm marking this down because we're talking about this next week, folks. We're going to keep people accountable. All right, so Rob says Alito. Here's what I'm going to say. I watched that Peaster team, and Azel, the Basin Azel team is in tackle and also and I'm sorry if it wasn't Coach Basin's team. I know I've seen him out there. It's a gentleman I know. Going to have him on the show too. I've already talked about that. Get some of the Azel Hornets on there. They are a scrappy, good defensive team. Mm-hmm. Always have been. And for them to have the number of points scored on them they did kind of made me go, has Peaster found something? I mean, have we gone through these 5 or 6 weeks and they've unlocked this magic sauce? And I can tell you those kids were excited. They've got a ton of momentum. I bet their practices were off the chart this week. I know the first time they played, excuse me, guys, I know they lost, but I'm going to take Peaster to win tonight. And I'm going to give a score. I think it's going to be close because that Alito team's a very good team. Matter of fact, this Alito team I've picked twice to beat the Azel team. And so Alito, I mean, knowing my luck, I'm gonna get this one wrong on here. But I think it's going to be a close game tonight. But I'm going 21-18. I think Peaster is going to win the second grade 7-on-7 championship game tonight.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those teams.
No. And I do, let me just say to all of our second grade teams, hats off to a great season, whether you made the playoffs or not, for coming out, competing, practicing, putting that stuff together. Hats off to every team that played in the second grade that made second grade successful. I can assure you guys that these teams that are in the championships, they are not in the championships unless they are going through some serious, stiff competition, and that's exactly what you guys gave them. So for the rest of you guys that didn't make it, from everybody at MYFA, great season. For those of you guys that made it to, I called last week's game the divisional and conference championship games, but so for those of you guys that made it to those games last week, thank you guys for a great season in 7-on-7 in second grade, and it's going to be a fun one tonight, and that game kicks off at 6:30, so that's right after this. That game kicks off at 6:30. All right, game number 2. We got Alito Scott versus Alito Davis. Alito Scott, as we said, beat Brock, who also cruised a little bit third grade division. They beat the Brock Elliott team and Alito Thean Robinson, who was a good team.
Coach
and
Robinson's team won last year.
Yeah, that's a good football team. That's a really good football team. Who you got tonight?
Alito.
Cheap.
Well, so what you got here is you got offense versus defense, it looks like. Coach Scott's team apparently dialed up some serious defense against that Brock team that had been basically putting up over 40 points a week on pretty much everybody.
Yep.
And held them to 14 points, I think is what
16,
it was.
14.
That's ridiculous. And, Coach Davis' team, they've been on, I think, like 3 or 4 games where they've been putting up over 40 points.
Yep, they put up 30, beat that Menlo Robinson team who was a back-to-back champ from last year and trying to get back. They won 30-14. I agree with you. I feel like this might be a little bit of a defensive game tonight.
Yeah.
But opposite of second grade, and I've seen a little bit of these guys, not a lot. I feel like Alito Scott had their moment in beating Brock.
It's a big one.
And it is, because Brock was it. If we would have had the show last week, of course I would have picked Brock to lose. No, I would have picked Brock to win. There's no doubt about it. And so with that being said, I think Alito Davis is going to win the third grade 7-on-7 championship tonight. I've got that score. I think it goes back to a little bit of a defensive game, but I've got that score being 18-14 tonight with those guys. And I am writing this down. And by the way, so you guys know, I don't know if you can see this on the cameras or here, I don't pick the games, so I'll pick them live with you guys. So I make sure to pick them live. I just really go with my gut feeling and also some of the stats. I do research, but once again, just like second grade, third grade, Alito Scott, Granbury Westbrook, Midlow Robinson, Alito Hanson, you guys that made the playoffs, hats off to you two. Great season. Going to be a big one tonight in third grade.
And you get to watch both of those games at the same time too.
That's
two
awesome.
for one. So
tonight, if there's a price worth of admission, it's championship night, playoff and championship night. You get to watch some great teams. The price is well worth it. All right, fourth grade. We're waiting. I know all you guys are. I'm surprised I haven't seen Mrs. Cooper on here. She's usually my biggest fan on here that from Alito. So she might be waiting on me to make this pick because sometimes she come up. But Michelle, if you're listening, I'm waiting on you. But I'm going to save the fourth grade game and we're going to jump to fifth grade. We got Coach Darren Rice's team who beat the other Granbury team. Honestly kind of handled their business 27-4.
Well, came back and kind of revenged the loss against them from earlier in the season.
They definitely did. And you got Eaton that had a barn burner with Burleson. But besides the hiccup to Granbury Rice earlier in the year and the loss to Stephenville, Eaton's kind of ran its course. Who you got?
Well, I'm going to go with Granbury.
Ooh, all right. I
think Granbury's going to have a little defensive game plan to hopefully limit some of see if they'll limit some of Eaton's athleticism that they got and the speed that they have. And I mean, otherwise it could be wide open for Eaton if they don't slow them down.
So I'm gonna tell on myself and the coaching staff. Our defensive plan we used against Eaton, we stole from the first Granbury game. In Coach Rice's defense, and we modified it a little bit. But where I feel like that Eaton and Coach Hill is listening, and I will say they adjusted to it and put up points, and so I felt like if we could get Eaton to have to play the flats, I felt like we could beat them. And that didn't always happen. I mean, because they had run some backs out, and our goal was bend, don't break against them. We talked to our boys about that. It's like, hey, they're good, they're talented, their quarterback's good. They've got several great athletes on there. That I wish I knew the young man's name, but they have one little gentleman that he's a little bit smaller, but man, that kid was just lights out, just a great player. And our first game, I mean, I have no problem saying he torched us on he had run kind of a post corner, and if that ball was in his vicinity, he caught it. And so our deal was like, okay, we're going to bend, don't break, make them control the flats. And we did a pretty good job of it. We kind of stole that from Granbury Rice. Granbury Rice has good safety play. They've got good athletes.
Yeah, both teams are really well coached. I mean, and you can see that on the field when they play.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
I mean, they run good offensive schemes. Their defensive schemes are very clean. I mean, they're legitimate teams, especially at the fifth grade level for kids to be performing like that.
Oh, my God. I'm excited about fifth grade. I'd said fourth grade is most competitive division in football on 7-on-7, but I don't know that that's true. I think fifth grade is now going into sixth grade, because I think Cooper and Barrett are just hands above everybody. Sorry for all you other fourth graders out there going into fifth grade, but in fifth grade, there's a lot of parity, and I'm really excited for the fall. But Eaton's winning this game tonight, and I'll tell you why. I think, and I don't know the offensive coordinator's name for Eaton, but he sees the field really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now he's seen Granbury, and I think our game against us last week will help them prepare. The only thing that will stop Eaton is themselves, because Eaton, I did notice a little bit in our boys when they come off the field, they were saying, "Hey, we're in their heads a little bit. We're in their heads a little bit." And they did have some on defense when we had moved the ball and we slow moved the ball on them, that they didn't like that. They did not like that. Coach Hill says James Bruce, aka Slim. Is that the player? Because Slim is he's the real deal. Or maybe that's the coach he's talking about, Coach Bruce. I'm not sure. Clarify that for me, Mr. Hill. But I think now he's seen it. I think he's going to be able to adjust tonight. And I actually have this game. I actually think Eaton's going to win this game 34-18. I don't think it's going to be close. Oh, that's the offensive coach, Coach Bruce. I think Eaton wins this game 34-18. No pressure, Coach Hill, but I think they're taking the 7-on-7 championship home. I know that is a big score, and they lost to Granbury Rice, but after seeing Eaton on the field twice and watching them adjust, and I believe they're putting up 30 points. I don't know that Granbury is going to put up that much, but that's my pick, and I'm sticking with it.
I mean, that's the fun thing about 7-on-7. I mean, you can score 10 points in a matter of seconds, and it changes the whole course of the game.
Godly Diggs, maybe the matchup of the night. Two extraordinary talented teams. Who do you got?
I mean, that's a tough one, but I mean, we have to go with Diggs. I mean, MYFA favorite, right? I mean,
yeah. I love you, Godly. Join MYFA. I might pick you, but until then,
that's kind of what I'm saying is
until you join MYFA, Coach Diggs, and I don't think this is close. I think they figured it out when they played them 2 weeks ago. I'm going back to the score that they had, 48 and I don't think they're even going to score 30 against them. I got 48-24. I think that's why I picked this game second to last. I don't think this is close. I think Diggs submits. already a fantastic legacy, wins this 7-on-7 championship tonight. And I think Eaton, both in 5th and 6th grade, win the 7-on-7 championships tonight. And hats off to, I know Monica's out there and that those guys out there in Eaton. I think they're going to have a great game. But my opinion, the game of the night, the most intense game of the night, and we have 1 minute to talk about it on purpose because I don't want to get ripped apart.
Oh, yeah.
Cooper Barrett. Now, Cooper has beat Barrett the past couple of times they've played. Who do you got?
Man, I mean, they played last year in the championship,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
Barrett's got a revenge of loss from last year. So, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot on the line, a lot of bragging rights on
A lot
the
of
line.
bragging rights.
So,
Come on, we got 40 seconds. Come on, Press.
I figured that talking that long was more
No.
than 20 seconds.
I need your pick. I need your pick.
I don't know. This is going to be a tough one. I haven't got to see either one of them play this year.
He's on the fence. I'm telling you, Coach Barrett's bringing it home tonight, people. He's bringing it home tonight. He's bringing it home tonight, just like the Stars are going to bring it home. Coach Barrett is bringing it home tonight. Coach Kevin's going to have a defensive plan. I love my boys from Cooper. I high-five them every week. I think this is a close game. I think it's super close. But I've got 32-30. An interception ends the game.
Oh, wow.
Burleson Elks, come on, baby. They're bringing it home tonight. Love you guys. Championship Friday, MYFA Live after the whistle. We'll talk to you next week.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.